Everybody. Pranayam. Today I want to share some thoughts about what is absolute love and what is raga. We call everything raga, dvesha, and raga in English will be attachment. So there are many differences. In worldly life we consider attachment as love. Love is pure love, absolute love, God's love. Today we heard in all these bhajans to invoke that love which is already there within us. But when we call somebody I love you, we need to be more aware how much of that is the pure love which is our Atma, which is the quality of the Atma as Satchit Anand. Truth is abstract, but we express it as love, joy, peace and freedom. Those are the four legs of the chair of our truth. Absolute love is like pure gold that we see in a gold store, like Mahesh Bhai has a gold store. It's pure gold biscuit. And most of our love is like mixed with attachment. For example, when we see the gold in the gold store and gold from the gold mine is attached with all the dirt. So our love is attached with the attachment. So we call it love, is okay, but we need to be aware how much of that is pure love and how much is those attachment. Why it is important to know? Because what we call in Sanskrit or in Gujarati or in other Indian language is called raga. Raga is attachment. And raga can any time be totally converted into just the opposite. Opposite of rag is not love. Opposite of rag is dvesha, is total negativity, almost like a hatred, almost like I can't stand you. We have our examples in our scripture, like Dashrath had 3 queens, and most favorite queen was Kaikeyi. But at the time of his death, what did he tell? He says, I don't want her on my bedside. What happened? Suddenly it changed from being the most favorite queen to he doesn't want to see her face. Because what she said, what she asked was not acceptable by him. So that was a love, but there was more attachment to that. Otherwise it doesn't change. Pure love doesn't change. So we call that pure love is unconditional. Sometimes when I read the word, understood the word unconditional, I understood that unconditional meaning the other person, no matter what he or she asks you, you have to give because it's unconditional, you have pure love. That's not the meaning of unconditional. Unconditional meaning, regardless what the other person's behavior is, you remain unaffected. You remain in pure witness of your own love, your pure Atma. So that you do not generate any negativity towards that person. That person may be ignorant. That person it doesn't know what the truth is, doesn't know what is right, what's wrong. You do not generate negativity. So that is unconditional love. Now we all know the raga can be increased or decreased. Today you may be attached to something. After 10 years, the same thing you are attached to is not important. In regular life, you know, the kids play with the small things. Then when they grow up, they have a different attachment. When they grow up, they have a different attachment. Attachment keeps on changing. Pure love remains the same. Then in pure love, there is no selfishness. But in attachment, there is always a center of ego. I and mine. Which I? Not the absolute I, not the Atma I. The BMI, your body, mind, intellect. My body needs it, my mind needs it, my intellect needs it. So it is identified with your ego. And so anytime the ego, bigger the attachment. You know, if you're a big balloon and you just put a pinprick, boom, right? It happens. We all know that. So we need to be aware, where is my attachment, how big is my ego, and how I explode when the ego is hurt. You call it love, But it's not really love, because love would not explode like that. Love can only transform to compassion. No matter what other person is, you have compassion. May God bless that person. He or she is not aware of what is going on. In fact, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, all the gunas, the gnana is going to be already like all the positive gunas we have discussed about all the alphabets, every quality of our life force. Like for A is awareness, B is blessing, C is compassion, D is divinity, right? Those are, you can think of any positive quality in your life, in Guru's life or in God's life. Those are called gnana, or those are positive qualities that will gradually help us to transform from attachment to pure love. Other changes talked about the, yes, if you have pure love, automatically you will feel peace and joy and freedom. But when you have attachment, no. Attachment, other danger of attachment, not only can there's dvesha and war within yourself, war in the family, war with the friends, war at your job, war in the countries, war, international war happens mainly because of this is mine, this is yours, my belief was your belief, I and mine. But in pure love, there's no I and my, because at the level of the Atma is same for everybody, so there's no question of I and my, there's no other. But in a attachment, in a self-centered love, what we call love is an attachment, that there will be expectation. Other thing, if you see the story of Mahabharata, Shantanu, start from the story of Shantanu. He had attachment with that Matsyagandha. Okay, no matter, he was the king and she was of the different level, but because she was so beautiful, he could not handle his mind. That was moha. What we call moha is an illusion. We think this person will give me the most happiness, most joy in my life. It doesn't happen. Then what happened? Bhishma. Bhishma also had attachment. Attachment to what? To his own vow. He had taken the vow, no matter what happens, I'm going to support this Duryodhana. Even when Sri Krishna said, look, Duryodhana is not on the right path. You have to leave him, you have to disown him. But he was so attached, that was his attachment, that was not love. Because deep down he knew that he could love the person who was so negative and so doing negative behavior and still expected Bhishma to protect. But because there was his moha. Moha towards his own attachment, towards his own pratigna. And then who was Dhritarashtra? What was Dhritarashtra's moha? Towards his own son. Okay, Duryodhana, no matter how badly he behaved, tried to kill Pandavas, okay, still, my son, I have to take care of his needs, and if I don't, he will get mad and he will disown me. So that was his moha. He thought it was love. Not love, that was his attachment. And what was the moha of Duryodhana? Of the kingdom. He wanted kingdom anyway. Okay, whether I do evil work, whether I do cheat and take away somebody's property, he didn't care. He had no conscience. So, in pure love, there's always a conscience. I will always be hurt if I do something wrong. Immediately I will try to apologize and try to make amends. But person who has just attachment only to the external stuff, whether it is material world or whether it is the body of another person, mind of another person, it could be wealth, it could be your knowledge, whatever, that person has hard time looking within and understanding his or her conscience. So, love has no opposite. Love is pure love. Like in Satchit Ananda, Ananda has no opposite. Sukh has opposite of Dukh, pleasure and pain. Love is beyond pleasure and pain, beyond attachment and Kama and Krodha. In love, if you are a pure loving person, we can expand our personality. In the beginning you think it's just me, I take care of my body, then I take care of my loved ones, my husband, my children, then I go and take care of my extended family, then my society, then my nation, and then international. It expands. But attachment, self-centered. It constricts. It will not be able to expand. So expansion, then most of the saints and sages, like for example we see Baiji. Baiji's expression of truth comes from pure love. She doesn't have attachment. Today you may like her, tomorrow you may not like her. Today you can support her and come here, and maybe 5 years later you may have some negative feelings and you say, I never want to go and see them, I never want to do anything with the ashram. They will say, God bless them. They will not get affected by that. So most of the sages and saintly are in that self-sacrifice. That's what it's called, unconditional. They don't mind giving their time and giving their energy, even their material world, for the sake of the humanity, for the shreyas. See, there's a shreyas and prayas. Shreyas is for the good of many. Prayas is good for me only. So people who are more attached, even though they call it love, they will be always going for self-centered love, self-centered attachment. But the people like Baiji, saintly people, will always think, what is good? It's good for me, but it's also good for everybody else. So, you think if you have pure love, you won't suffer? Like Mirabai, Narsi, all the saints and sages didn't suffer? Yeah, they did suffer too. But their suffering was much less, and they could endure their suffering because it is for the higher cause. Whereas self-centered people, when they suffer, their suffering is for the limited thing. So it could be very dangerous too. It could be very dangerous. They can't stand when sometimes that's how people either commit suicide or they become violent. They may hurt somebody else also. So, able to accept situation as they are. We don't have control of external world. So saintly people who love deep from within because they know it is my basic nature. This God is within me and God is within everybody. So they act with that notion. So they are able to accept when situations go through that they cannot accept it. And they say, okay, stay away from it. If I can't change, other worldly people say, can't change, join them. No, if you can't change, don't join them. Okay? You remain upeksha. Stay away from them. Okay? This is called healthy detachment. Able to self-introspect and take responsibility for themselves and grow spiritually. We all come to satsang here in association with Baiji. We are aware of our shortcomings and we know that our shortcomings can change. We have to work for it. We have to do some sadhana. And that's why we have talked about before in Bhagavad Gita's 18 steps of sadhana, what we do, starting from seva and satsang. These are the two main things, seva and satsang, and you can grow up to self-realization. But these people will remain self-centered. And most people, let's say out of 100%, 90% of the people are living in self-centered life. They are not even aware that there is something beyond. They are contented. Like in one of the bhajans said, Brahma. So I have a friend, he says, you are searching for Brahma, I am living in Brahma and I enjoy my Brahma. Let me enjoy my Brahma, you keep on working on the Brahma. I don't know what Brahma is, stupid Nathakut, forget about it. I am happy being in my Brahma. Okay, so we have to say, okay, you enjoy your Brahma, but I am looking for the Brahman, the highest. Okay. So when we get in touch with the highly evolved people like Baiji, we come here, spend some time with them. Just being with them itself makes us feel happy, makes us feel blissful. We forget for our own little aches and pains of our life, right? So all the saintly people in the world, they're always brought people to them. They don't go looking for them. People go to them. They become like a magnet. So people go to them because they know something. It's there within themselves. We all have love within. Otherwise, we will not be able to attract. Okay? So that's what they do. Able, most comfortable in their own presence. Then shreyas and prayers, which all. And the last but not the least, we are in the world So we have to take our dunyadari, means vyavahari, the worldly responsibility. So our scripture says if you want to take responsibility of your worldly life in whatever field you are, at whatever level you are, whether mother role, father role, it's a big drama of this life. Okay, brother, sister, student, teacher, employee, employer, whatever level you are, do your best. But you take jawabdari on your shoulder, responsibility on my shoulder, okay, or in my hands. Then samajdari in my head. I understand what I do, why I do, where I go, why I am going, right road, wrong road. So it is jawabdari, samajdari, in heart mein wafadari. Wafadari meaning honest. Am I honest to myself? If I am not honest to myself, I can be honest with anybody, no matter with my loved one or my not loved one. So this is the way to be in the world but not be off the world. So we don't get caught in the web of the world, maru, taru, yours, mine, and ups and downs will be there. But you learn to detach and grow, and that's how we are pure love. We say, Jai Satchidanand. We have to experience the Jai Satchidanand. Jai meaning the winning. We win. The truth always wins, but we have to, number one, first realize it, admit it, accept it, try to increase all the good qualities, try to minimize the negative qualities, and keep the balance in our life. And I'm sure we all will finally reach our destination. Om Shanti.